Happy Wednesday and happy last day of school. Woo! Yes, I hope you have had a beautiful beginning, middle, and almost end of the day. Yes, and the end of the school year. I don't know if your kids are out of school, but woo, celebrate. But you know what? I love being in school. I love being with the kids. So it's like a vacation there because it's total pleasure, even though it's hard work. But as I was telling some of them today, I work for free so much, stay after school and before school, and so many elements, you do it without pay. And that's when you know when you're doing your heart's calling, your heart's desire, your passion. Can you do it without even thinking about compensation? Well, hopefully you have found that for your heart. Well, we have another story. It is about someone famous. You never heard of Willie Mays? Willie Mays, a magnificent biography, heartfelt, accessible, by Jonah Winter and Terry Widener. Now, I don't know how far we will get in this book. Maybe it'll be first half and the second half tomorrow, but let's go on and see. You never heard of Willie Mays? Well, he may just be the greatest baseball player of all time. Catch, throw, run, hit. Willie could do it all. A New York Times Editor's Choice, a Bulletin Blue Ribbon book, and a CCBC Choices book. New York Times said, magnificent, wow. And book list said, the Say Hey Kid had style to spare, and so does this irrepressible book. A must-have for baseball fans. All right, so we know this summer a lot of people will be going to Cubs and White Sox, so get ready. Oh, author's note. I think we'll read this at the end if we have time. Look at the beautiful, whoa, look like watercolors here. Good job, Terry Widener. All right. You never heard of Willie Mays? The Willie Mays? Oh, geez, where to begin? How about Birmingham, Alabama, 1941? A kid with his ear glued to the radio. We interrupt this program for an important announcement. Joe DiMaggio has just homered off Red Sox pitcher Dick Newsom, extending his hitting streak to a record-breaking 45 games. As the story goes, a little boy named Willie Mays had himself a hero. Willie told his pop, I want to be the next Joe DiMaggio. From roughly 1937 to 1950, a side note, Joe DiMaggio was considered the best player on the New York Yankees and one of the top players in the major leagues. He was known for his mighty home run blast, wide batting stance, unstoppable base running, game-winning hits, and unmatchable grace in center field. And in 1941, his hitting streak of 56 games set a record that will probably never be broken. All over America, radio stations would announce each time DiMaggio extended his streak. Word was Willie did everything like Joltin' Joe. The batting stance, the way he ran, the way he threw. There was only one problem. The major leagues didn't allow black guys to play back then. Craziest rule there ever was. So maybe someday this kid could play on a Negro League team. But wearing Yankee pinstripes was out of the question. In the Deep South, where Willie lived, black folks had to drink from different water fountains and sit at the back of the bus. Oh, you remember? Look at the comparisons of the water fountain. This is all rusty. Colored water fountain. White. The Negro Leagues. Because the major leagues barred all black players, African Americans, formed their own leagues, the Negro Leagues. They had their own World Series, All-Star games, and American and National Leagues, just like the majors. They even played in some of the same stadiums. Sometimes they played exhibition games against the major league teams, and they won more than they lost. Yes, yep, they were better, and many of their stars are now in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. It's about time. I'm thinking about our mayor's son, how I believe he plays high school baseball at my alma mater. Yeah, that's a lost art. Put your kids as much as possible, boys and girls, in baseball. It's wonderful. Most blacks in Birmingham worked back-breaking jobs in the steel mills. That was all they could get. But Willie's pop had made some decent money playing center field for a semi-pro team. And he knew how much you could make if you were really good, if you were a pro. That's why he was always coaching Willie how to hit and how to play center. Beautiful. By all accounts, though, Willie didn't need too many pointers. He was a natural. He was the kid all the other kids wanted on their team. The one who ran a little faster, hit a little farther, played a little harder than anybody else. Remember when you were on those teams? Oh, we were playing soccer today, and I'm glad we didn't have to. It was 2 kindergarten teams, and there were 14 children, so 7 and 7, and pretty much they were even. We didn't have to choose like, oh, he's the best, or oh, she's not good, she was last. Nope, they were just blind, and they just chose the players. Well, pretty much I chose players, but that's a good thing when you can just select children and there are no hurt feelings. No, not based on ability, but availability. And he was a kid everybody liked, who entertained his sisters by throwing dishes up in the air and catching them just like they were baseballs, and this was the World Series. Didn't know he was a juggler. He was a kid who played with his pop on the steel mill team, who once outran him for a fly ball because at age 14, Willie was already the better player. And he was the kid who, in 1946, at only 15 years old, got asked to play pro ball in the Negro Leagues with grown men, and he did. Suddenly, this teenage kid was making more money than his pop. What? And when the year after that, the major leagues ended their stupid rule barring black guys, there was a ray of hope that one day Willie might play in the majors like Joe DiMaggio. Isn't this wonderful? I hope I didn't. Oh. What a wild thing that must have been for young Willie, spending his summer vacations. Hey, this is summer vacation. Playing for teams like the Birmingham Black Barons, riding around the country in a rickety bus through the night, calls no whites only hotels would put him up. Remember, what is the Green Book, right? Certain hotels blacks could only go to. Getting teased by the older guys who knew in their hearts he was already better than them, that he was going places, even though his voice was still squeaky and his arms were still skinny and he still had a lot to learn. Oh, isn't this exciting as a young teenager? Legend has it the first time Willie got hit by a pitch, he was lying on the ground. Wind knocked him out of him, practically crying. His coach walks up to him and says, "Son, can you see first base?" "Yes, sir," Willie squeaks. "Then I want you to get up and walk there. The first chance you get, I want you to steal second." Well, as it turned out, Willie did steal second and third and scored a run. And he kept on running and running and running. What a natural. All the way to the major leagues, he kept on running. It was 1951, and there weren't too many black guys in the majors yet. They had to be mind-boggling good to make the cut. The team that signed him was the New York Giants. And for us Giants fans, this was a big deal. See, we were just a so-so team back then. We never got higher than third place. We needed a miracle. And the kid was supposed to be just that. The next Babe Ruth, the next Ty Cobb, and yup, even the next Joe DiMaggio. All rolled into one. Willie Mays' first season, Rookie of the Year. Long story short, Mays did not disappoint. Before his first game as a Giant in Philadelphia, Willie was taking practice cuts like guys do during warm-ups. And suddenly everyone, even the Phillies, stopped what they were doing and watched. Jaws dropped while this young black guy walloped ball after ball over the fence, one to the left field grandstand, one off the scoreboard, one into the stratosphere. Well, they hadn't seen nothing yet. For instance, his first at-bat at the Polo Grounds, the Giant Stadium, up against Warren Spahn, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Mays takes a curveball that just paints the outside corner for strike one. Mays might be just a little overmatched right here. Next pitch, swung on and missed. The count 0-2. Here comes the pitch. Mays connects. That ball is headed for the... No, it clears the left field roof. Willie Mays, in his first at-bat in New York, has sent one out of the stadium. Silence falls over the stands. Then, like a tidal wave, comes this roar. A 20-year-old rookie, a kid, had awakened the sleeping Giants. Jeez, what a way to say, I'm here. Yes, sirs. Isn't this wonderful? Isn't this inspiring? And what he goes on to do that season, not just for the Giants, but for all of baseball, can't be explained with numbers or stats. It was how he went all out every single moment, flying around the bases so fast that his hat would fly off, charging like line drives, hit to shallow center field like his life depended on it, using his classic basket catch, his glove held out like he was asking for a cookie, cool as he could be, and making throws no other human could make, including one so great it got nicknamed the throw. Willie Mays is reaching up with one hand. He's got it. He spins 180 degrees. Cox breaks for home. Wait a minute. The ball comes into Westrom on the fly. Cox slides, and Westrom cuts him down at the plate. Cox is out. Billy Cox is out. Catch, throw, run, hit, slug. Mays could do it all, and he could do it with a style, my friend. To us kids, Mays was just like a big kid himself. He was one of us, and we loved him, and he loved us right back. Talking to the fans, he'd always say, hey, in that high-pitched voice that earned him the nickname, the Say Hey Kid. But what we all loved best was how hard he played. That's right, work hard. Mays tried so hard he sometimes passed out right there on the field. They'd have to carry him off on a stretcher. Didn't know that. And then after games, he'd go back home to Harlem and play stickball on St. Nicholas Place with the neighborhood kids. Isn't this beautiful? He would do it for free. See, you're talking about your passion. It was like he couldn't stop. The Polo Grounds, the streets. He didn't care where he was playing. This is wonderfully inspiring. Then, like a lot of guys his age, Willie got drafted by the Army at the start of 1952 and had to spend 2 years in a uniform that didn't say Giants. By 53, the Giants had slid back into 5th place. And us fans, we stopped going to the games. What was the point? Yep, we all counted the days till Willie returned. And when he finally did, he no longer looked like a kid. He's up to his fighting weight of 185 pounds. All of his solid muscle. But can he still play? See his Army uniform? Oh, what you think? Can he still play? Ha! Game 1 of 1954 World Series. Giants and Indians. That's right. With Mays back, the Giants had made it to the series with the whole country watching on TV. Score tied 2-2 in the 8th. Vic Wirtz at bat for Cleveland. 2 guys, a nobody out with the count 1-2. Wirtz slammed the ball to deep center field. And bam! Willie's running like a madman without even looking. This was crazy. I mean, this is a shot no one catches. Not even the Say Hey Kid. It was hit too far, too hard. And Willie has his back to it, looking like he might run smack into the wall. Still, he keeps on barreling. At one point doing that thing he does when he knows he'll make the catch, tapping his glove with his right fist. Oh, we got to come back to this. We got to come back to this. There's a long drive way back in center field, way back. It's a, oh my, caught by Willie Mays. Willie Mays just brought the crowd to his feet with a catch, which must have been an optical illusion to a lot of people. Boy, can you believe it? This is what happens when you work hard and play hard. Oh, this is inspiring. Willie twirls around and fires that ball to the infield, which keeps the runner from scoring and helps win the game. In this one play, he defies the laws of gravity, baseball, common sense, eyesight, and probably a few other laws too. Unbelievable. You could fill a whole book with all the jaw-dropping plays Willie made, all the homers he hit, all the bases he stole. But what made the catch in 54 so special was that millions of people all over America had seen it on TV. It was the first time a lot of white folks had ever witnessed a black player who really was like Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, and Joe DiMaggio, all rolled up into one. Even Joe D had to admit Willie had the best arm that ever was. Isn't this wonderful? Just look at him, even as he falls to his knees after making that play, his eyes still taking in the path of the ball. Even then, you could see him, he was mentally still in the game, wanting to win, never giving up, ready for more. You never give up. Yes, sir, in that one moment when Willie made the catch, he showed the world a new way of playing the game. He changed how people saw his skin. In his own way, he changed the world. Woo! Wasn't that inspiring? What are you going to do to change the world? I tell you, I know. This summer, what you going to do? April 28, 1920, Chicago White Sox versus Cleveland Indians. Indian center field. Tris Speaker slammed into a wall to catch a line drive by shoeless Joe Jackson. Though Speaker was knocked out, his glove remained tightly wrapped around the ball. August 2nd, 1939, Detroit Tigers versus New York Yankees. At Yankees, Joe DiMaggio ran 100 feet to catch a towering blast by Hank Greenberg. Graceful as ever, DiMaggio did not crash into the wall, but he came very close. Wow. I wish I had time to read the author's note, but I know this is going to run out, but I know you're inspired. I'm going to read it until this runs out. William Howard Mays, Jr. was born near Birmingham, Alabama, in the suburb of Westfield on May 6, 1931. Wow. Just last month, he would have made, oh my goodness, oh, this is what happens when you do impromptu. He would have been 92 years old. He began his baseball career when he was only a teen in 1947 in the Negro Leagues, first with the Chattanooga Choo-Choos, and then with his hometown pennant-winning Birmingham Black Barons. He went on to become a man who many say was the greatest all-round player in Major League history. At the same time of this book's publication, many of his Mays career stats are at or near the top of practically every Major League all-time list. Many seasons, he led the league in batting averages, homers, stolen bases, triples, runs, hits, walks, total bases, base percentage, slugging percentage, and other categories. Had he not been drafted into the Army, there's a good chance that he would have hit more home runs than even Babe Ruth, whose 714, the record until 1974, were only 54 more than Mays' 660. In his quiet way, Willie Mays did much to further the cause of justice for African Americans. He arrived on the public stage at a time when many white Americans truly thought that African Americans were inferior, and he proved that this was absolutely ridiculous. He may not have marched in any civil rights parades, as if Jackie Robinson, the first African American in the majors, but what Mays did on the baseball field was a big eye-opener for white Americans. He was not just a great black baseball player, he was simply the greatest baseball player most people had ever seen, period. Dr. King, same era. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Go make a difference this summer and the rest of your days. Thank you, Willie Mays.